runs on the board yesterday with a record score against Footscray, and Bob Davis was there to see it.
Yes, Ron, I'm not sure it was a record hot day for August. It was a record score by the Essendon Football Club, and it was a record low by the Footscray Football Club. I don't think that they showed any effort after quarter time whatsoever, and I'm not sure whether whether it was a good day for Essendon or not, because the game was that easy for them. You can see Nagle there. Nagle, that's one of his few possessions for the day, but of course he could possess it because Billy the Black could do that. There was no one anywhere near him, and he just went up to get the ball. I think that it was probably a bad thing for Essendon to have such an easy game just before they go into the final. But
Bob, tell us about Essendon's win over Footscray.
Well, in the first quarter, Footscray actually played quite well and led at quarter time by a goal. They put a bit of pressure on Essendon, and some of the Essendon players weren't up to scratch at that stage. In fact, I watched them play a couple of weeks ago, Essendon. I thought they were down then, and I thought perhaps they hadn't picked up a great deal. But after quarter time, they really got their act together. Their centre line started to play well. Justin Madden gave them possession of the ball, and this fellow here, in Timmy Watson, completely controlled the game, whether he was around the centre or whether he was going up to the half-forward or even as far as the square, kicking goals. But he did play very well. We also had Foles doing well and Grant Fowler. In fact, you could go through the whole team, and they all suddenly gathered momentum. Walsh played a disciplined game at well, Andrews only on for a short time, Andrews. There's a very nice mark to that. Simon Madden, handballing on, going up. But that's, see, those sort of things, that's what led me to believe about Bahaja, really. He wasn't handling the ball well, but as the game went on, he really got control of himself and finished up with 3 goals. No pressure.
Lack of pressure, good or bad, a week before the finals?
Well, I wouldn't like to think that it was going to improve them all that much, although, as Kevin Sheedy did say, it does pick up their confidence. They got 30 kicks and they say, oh, I got 30 last week, I ought to be in touch again. But it's a little bit difficult to know. I think Kevin Sheedy, being a tough coach, would have probably enjoyed the game if it had been a harder test for his players.
Bob, you were highly critical of Scott playing in the 2 games. That's the full forward for St Kilda.
Oh, that's the other game, Lewis. I cannot believe that a team should be allowed to do it. I know it may well be within the rules, but over the last few years, coaches have decided to bend or break the rules to their own advantage. And I would say that, don't Sam, it's impossible. If you're going to play by the spirit of the game, no one can you can't be expected to play 2 games in one afternoon. As for Scott, I think they should take the points off them or change the rules altogether.
He went on the ground.
It's a definite.
Absolutely. He's got to go.
Of course it isn't.
Bob.
It is rubbish.
He's got to go on the ground,
They haven't
Bob.
broken any rules.
I'm not saying they've broken any rules. They've bent the rules to their own advantage.
And that's the way sometimes
Bob, they've got to go on the ground.
They can bend the rules to your advantage.
Yeah, and that's just like in the game today. What they're doing, breaking with the umpires, trying to delude the umpires, acting in front of the umpires, and trying to ruin the whole game.
Bob,
the spirit of the game is being lost very much so.
Bob, you vote for yesterday's game.
Well, I don't give any to St Kilda for doing that, and I would hope that the league do something about it very quickly.
Sorry,
the votes, I gave 1 vote to Bahaja after a very slow start, happened to play quite well. I gave 2 votes to Justin Madden, who marks a lot better than I thought he could mark, kicks beautifully, and I gave 3 votes to Timmy Watson, who completely dominated the game with power play all around the field.
And you'll never get anywhere in a competitive sport if you're going to follow the letter of the law right down the line.
Well, at Windy Hill lists football greats like triple Brownlow winner Dick Reynolds, the late Billy Hutchison, Jack Clark and Kenny Fraser. Recently, however, it seems the job has become something of an unwanted burden. Simon Madden briefly held the job. Neil Danaher was injured before he could take over. Ronnie Andrews, it's been a frustrating week-to-week proposition, and then along came Timmy Watson. Yesterday, Watson guided the Bombers to a record-breaking 146-point win over Wooden Spooners Footscray at the Western Oval. It was Watson at his best as he gathered 25 kicks against only mediocre opposition in a fine tune-up for next week's elimination final. With Andrews again injured, the mantle of captaincy will once more fall on this brilliant 21-year-old. Today, he talks on World of Sport to Bob Davis.